what's up everyone, Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye here, and a lot of you like to see the series that I have with whatever photographer lessons taught me. So today I want to talk about Diane Arbus because I love street photography, street environmentalism, all that kind of stuff, and she was really one of the biggest contributors to that genre ever, and it's because she took a stance on the different side of things compared to just the normal. So let's get into it. Let's just talk a little bit by Diane Arbus and some of these 7 lessons that I learned from studying her work and her mindset. So Diane Arbus was an American photographer born in 1923 who passed away in 1971. She was a young, creative child who her father taught her photography and gave her a camera and everything like that. And she's very much known for capturing, as I said, the not normal, and this isn't my words, but the weird of the time. Like she would go around taking photos of people with disabilities, dwarves, giants, the not normal, the ugly of society, because she wanted to tell their story because no one else was. And that's one of the key points that throughout this whole thing, so keep that in mind. And that enabled, and that was the mindset of Diane Arbus, and I think that's one of the most important things, because as a photographer nowadays, we are to tell the story of our subject or of the day or anything like that. So having that mindset is one of the biggest things that I think is out there. So she did something not a lot of other people enjoy doing, because she had the guts to do it. So here are my 7 lessons. There's a little bit by Diane Arbus. I'll throw a picture up, and any photo I use is from the estate of Diane Arbus. So check these out as well as I throw them up here, just to show some of these points. But they are very impactful for what she shows. Here is one of my first lessons from Arbus. Be it I described what she did, one of my first lessons to explore the uncomfortable environment and uncomfortable places. Step out of your comfort zone. Like one of my biggest things that I learned to start doing is, or one of my biggest things that I learned was going into New York City when I first moved around the area. I was very intimidated on doing that, and I stayed around only the places that I knew. But over 2 years now, I've explored, all the way from Lower Manhattan to like the Freedom Tower, all the way to the Bronx, going near Harlem and Coney Island like that. So I'm spreading my territory. I mean, it's not the exact same way as, what I'm saying with how she photographed the, other kind of people. It's more or less getting out of your comfort zone is one of the biggest things that I learned, because if you stay in the same spots, you're going to get the same photos, you're going to get the same video. But if you expand it a little bit, you might see that shadow or that building or the look of something that you may have not seen before because you've never been there. Explore a little bit. It's going to help. Number 2, respect, adore the world through your subject's eyes and point of view. What I mean by that is, the person getting their photo taken isn't necessarily always comfortable with doing so, but they're doing it for a reason. Something inside of them said, yeah, heck yeah, let me take my photo. But you're telling the story through their eyes. It's the whole purpose of this medium. It's storytelling and light painting. That's the definition of photography. You are telling the story of how this person's feeling, what they're doing. You're conveying that through a message through a photograph, and respecting and adoring and really trying to take a photo of them, of what they're doing and who they are, is the biggest goal that a photographer or a creative can capture. You should also gain courage from taking photos of these subjects and these people, because you're stepping more outside of your comfort zone. And so I think that first lesson is one of the biggest things out there, and it's really gaining courage and going out there and doing things that you're not used to doing. Because if you just take once again, if everything's standard, it's not different. But as you gain more courage, you're going to interact with more people, you're going to do things a little bit more differently, you're going to be able to get a more of a variety into your portfolio, into whatever you want to shoot. So gain a little bit more courage by stepping out of your comfort zone. That's going to help out your story, whatever you're doing, tenfold. Take bad photos. Take really bad photos. But the thing is, they should be in focus for the most part. Who knows? It may help. But that's the point. You don't know what it's going to convey to the audience. There's times where I took a blurry photo and I said, I'm just going to throw it up because the bokeh looked cool. And it does look cool because it is. It's technically a bad photo. It's not in focus, but stuff out there is you should just take bad photos because it actually may help whatever you're doing. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's not a complete failure. You might get a hit from it. Something might happen with it. Take the risk, take good photos, take bad photos. Don't delete everything, because you never know. You might capture a funny expression with something you thought was bad, and it may convey a different message to someone else. So just keep that in mind. Be intimidated. And what I know I mentioned courage, but one of the biggest things I think for the 5th lesson is to be intimidated, because if you're feeling intimidated taking a photo, and one of the things it is my favorite picture of all time from her is the child with the grenade, and to me, it's just like, that is a little intimidating because that's very weird. You don't see that nowadays, and pretty much nowadays you won't see that because everything's very PC. But back then, that was a story of the time. That child had that. You know, that's a little bit different. That's intimidating, but that comes off in the photo because the photographer felt that way. So if you can convey emotion from yourself into your photo, you know, with however you're feeling, you did a damn good job. And I love to do that for like my wedding photography because I think whatever I'm feeling at the time is what the client can feel at the time as well. Number 6 is just to be more natural. Let the subjects, let the whatever you're taking photos of, pose themselves naturally. Let them just do it. Let them live their lives. That's street portraiture. That's capturing the environment. That's just something that I've learned as well. So one of the things I always say is I like to like kind of post up and I'll sit against the wall. And one of the Instagram photos that I have, so check me out on Instagram at the guy with the eye. It's I had this really cool shadow. It was like light. It was light to dark, and I was just waiting for someone to come into the light section, so that way it looked differently. There was perspective. There was a little bit more depth. And once again, simple photo to take, but it took like 20 minutes for someone to get to that point. And I sat there because the light was right, and I needed what I needed. So let the scene happen naturally. It's going to be a better photo. Lastly but not least, the last lesson, and it's off of this quote, pretty much one of Diane Arbus's famous quotes, and it's, "I really believe there are things nobody would see if I didn't photograph them." And I guess that's my last lesson. It's to take a stand, to create some form of message, is to really convey your work out there in that sense. Because if you don't take a stand, if you don't create a message, you're just taking a photo. You want to make one. You want to show your creativity with all of these. And I think that's one of the things that Diane Arbus did, was send a message through her work, and it really impacted society. So there are my 7 lessons that I learned through Diane Arbus. So how about you? Did you know a lot of the work and sayings of Diane Arbus? Please let me know down in the comments below. And also, if you did and you know what she's done in American photography, let me know some of your thoughts down below. What are other lessons we can gather from her work and her mindset that, you know, you could share with everyone as well? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want me to see more of this series, I'm obviously going to keep doing it, you know, if the love is there for it. So let me know other photographers who you think I can draw some lessons from, or maybe I have. Let me know down below. Let's engage more in discussion, and have a good one.